Welcome back to another video, and in this video we're going to be continuing on with our SwiftUI tutorial series, and in this particular tutorial we are going to be taking a look at how we can use a form in SwiftUI. Now, what is a form? Well, a form is a convenient way of being able to group many controls that that are common to one another for one specific purpose, such as being able to log in or register for an account in an app, or to insert some kind of data into the app. That's generally where forms are used. Okay, so if we do the following in our body of our content view, we'll say form like that. Let's go ahead and let's show quick help. So inside of this documentation here, inside of Xcode, you can see that this is a container for grouping controls for data entry. So like I said, when you're when you're registering for an account in an app, you might use a form. When you are, like, let's say you are building a recipe app, for when you're entering a recipe, you would use a form for that, for all the data you need and all that kind of stuff. Forms are used for. All right, so they are very useful and they're very common. Let's go inside of our form, and we're going to add a couple controls here. The first being a first name field. Then we're going to do a last name field, and then we're going, you could do whatever you want in here. We're going to actually do a username and password type form here, a login form, because that is probably the most useful type of screen we can do with what we know right now. So we'll say text field, username, text, username, secure field, password, text, $password, toggle, remember me is on, $remember. All right. And then finally a button log in. And we'll say do something. All right. Now we need to actually create our state variables. So we'll say @state private var username string equals an empty string, @state private var password is also a string, and @state private var remember going to be a bool, and set that equal to false. All right. R-E-M, remember. There we go. Save that, run it. All right, we need to fix our toggle here. All right, save that and run it. There we go. Gonna let it do its thing. All right. So here is our form. You can see that the username and password labels are next to the text fields instead of being their placeholder. And that is kind of how that's how they're meant to look in a form. Now we also have our toggle, which is, on macOS is a checkbox with its Remember Me title. And then we have a login button. So this is what forms look like on macOS. You've seen stuff like this before. And once we run this in iOS, I'm sure you will notice that you've seen the look of this on iOS before as well. So I'm going to go into Toolbar. We're going to, let's see. Okay, we don't want Navigator. We want Toolbar. There we go. Okay, we'll go 15 Pro for the device simulator. And there we go. Let it run, it's got to load and do its thing here. All right. All right. There we go. All right, so now inside of our simulator, we have our username field, we have our password field, and then we have a button. So the style of our text field is different. There's no padding in between the first text field and the second. They're kind of right up next to each other. Same thing goes for the button. They're right up. It's right up next to the text field, to the password field, with the toggle above the button. I guess it would be a better way to describe that. So they look like they're in, if you're familiar with UIKit, in a UI table view, but I believe it uses a collection view behind the scenes on iOS. I could be entirely wrong, but that's pretty much what a form looks like on iOS and what it looks like on macOS, which we saw earlier. So thank you all so very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.